Welcome to Savoir Labs, I'm Jamie Goodyear. Today we're going to get to play with our PPCs and MegaMek on a Raptor Blackbird. Up next. For over 20 years, the MegaMek community has been providing a Java-based implementation of the Classic Battletech board game. It allows users to log in and set up a game board, add in their units, and start playing. It handles all the rules, measurements, calculations, dice rolls. It's really fun. Our interest for this video, however, is going to be running the backend server component. We're going to set this up on our PowerPC. Given that it's a PPC system, this game needs to have PPCs powering it. So we're going to set up the server and then connect to it with clients and see how the game runs. Luckily, the community has already provided instructions for how to set up the server side of the software. Most of the instructions is very similar to how you would set up and run your local client. Included in this one, however, is some firewall commands to open up the port that you'll need for your clients to talk to the backend server. We're going to do a little bit of a different command given we're on CentOS on our system. And then the rest is about setting up a service so that way if you restart your server, it immediately restarts the game server every time you reboot. With this all shown, let's dive into the terminal. Before we start our install, I just want to show you what's currently on the screen. Above me is our main terminal into our PPC-based system, and on the right-hand side is a running BTOP. BTOP is showing us the CPU cores, how much load they have, our memory usage, disk usage, network usage, etc. So we can see how much work the backend system is doing. So let's begin. In our main terminal, we are going to use wget to grab the full distribution of the game. This is just a simple download. You do it on your desktop, but since we're going to do this on the backend server, we're going to just use wget to get the files. Now that we have the archive, we're just going to extract it. And now that we have it extracted, we can go directly into the extracted directory. We'll see in here that we have all the folders that make the game. The one that we are interested in here is the MegaMek jar. That is all we're going to need to be able to run the backend server, same as when we are going to run the front-end client. Now, before we can do anything else, we are going to need to check in on our firewall. We need to open up the game port, which is 2346. I'm currently using CentOS Stream 9. If we had to open up that port, we would use the following command. Firewall add port 2346 TCP. We already have this added in here, but this is to let you see that this is how you would do it. Now we have this installed, we can move on to running the backend server. Clearing our screen before we start running the command to start the server, I do want to show you that we are running a version of Java 17. In our case, it's IBM Semeru Community Edition. You need to have Java on your path in order for this to work. Same thing if you're running this from your Windows or a MacBook, you have to have Java available. You need at least Java version 17. So let's start up the server. To do this, we're going to invoke Java. We pass into it the memory settings. This game does not really require all too much RAM. Generally up to 2 gigabytes should be more than enough for most games. Then we pass on to it that we are running the jar, megamek.jar, and on dedicated port 2346. When we start this up, we'll see on the right-hand side that Java is now one of the programs that are running, and the tiniest amount of load has hit the CPUs. Let's go fire up a client and connect to the back end. Returning to the client side, I'm going to keep on the bottom of their screen our terminals to our PPC in the background so we can see how it is running. And then we're going to open up a terminal on our desktop and run the same jar, but this time as a client. What we'll see is that it will pop open its splash page and it's going to give us the opportunity to connect to a game. So we're going to open it up now to connect to our server. I am going to give ourselves a name and we put in our server address. In our case, our Raptor is running on 192.168.50.154 on port 2346. I'm going to click OK and we should connect to the back end. Now, obviously, this is not going to put too much load on the system yet because we're not playing a full game. So I'm just going to set up a unit, and then when we have that done, we are going to run a quick game. Select and close. And I'm going to add a bot to be able to have someone to play against on the system. And I will give this one a unit to play with. I'm going to pick something really, really easy to play against, just so that way the game will be relatively quick. Oh, add a unit to this one. Oops, and we're going to put this one under the usage of the AI. So we have an AI unit here, so we should start seeing a little bit of usage here once we start playing the game. So I'm going to start the game up, and obviously if we had lots and lots of units, there's going to be a lot more work for the back end to handle. So let's start this one up. I'm not going to explain how the game is played, but sufficient to say players take turns going through phases, and you have battling robots. That's all you really need to know at this point. So let's start this off. I have to place my my character somewhere here on the board. And now I can place myself and click deploy. This will start the game. And now we get to be able to do our movements and start our fight. So now it's my turn. I can start my player moving. And we'll see that the enemy has already showed up. I can click on them. And I am going to fire my lasers, skipping missile launchers, and fire more lasers. And declare my turn done. And so on and so forth. You can go like this through the game, and you just keep taking turns until someone wins. And here we can see the result of a complete run of a round of the game, and it gives you out your statistics of how the game went and what's going on. Okay, and the enemy stinger has been destroyed with the pilot ejecting. Another style of play is connecting to the game server as a bot. One of the fun parts of this is that you set up the AI that is going to be playing as your player and give them their army and tell it what kind of play style you want to have. I'm just going to pick a random unit here for it to use. And then I can add even more bots and tell it what its play style is going to be, and provide them with some units to play with, and make sure I set it to that particular AI. Select close, and now I've set up a game with blue and red teams, and I can just say, okay, go at it. Whoa, so very, very quickly what happened there was that it played a full game, and we can see that the red player won over its opponent. You can imagine if you set this up to simulate with many, many units, it can really make a game go quick. What's kind of fun with that is that if you're into military war games, strategy games, you can set up a bunch of scenarios, run it a whole bunch of times, and just see how it turns out. So that's the end of our demo of how you'd set up and run this game. I'm really happy that the back end of this runs on PPC64LE. It really shows that PPCs can be fun. Thank you again for watching. Please like and subscribe to our videos, and have a great day. Cheers.